Happy Boxing Day, Jamaica. Christmas Day has now come and gone, but we are very much still in the festive season. The warmth, love, joy, and peace of Christmas can remain with us as long as we keep that spirit alive within our hearts. Thanks for joining us for another exciting Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. Today, I'll be your guide through the pages of our magazine, and I hope it brings you much cheer.
This Christmas, choose life. As we recover from Hurricane Melissa's devastation, we're reminded that life is fragile. Pedestrians, stay alert. Drivers, slow down. Rest if you're tired, and never drink and drive. One careless decision can change a family forever. Let's have a safe and prayerful Christmas and a crash-free 2026.
Did you know that Boxing Day began as a tradition where servants, tradespeople, and the poor were traditionally presented with gifts? These days, it's most associated with sporting events, but we want to encourage you to look back to the roots of the holiday, especially given what many Jamaicans are facing since Hurricane Melissa. Speaking of, since the passing of the hurricane, scores of helping hands have emerged to lift many Jamaicans out of uncertainty, addressing urgent needs for food, health, shelter, and education. Our upcoming feature offers a glimpse into what is happening on the ground, and we hope it inspires you to help even one person who you know needs support.
The spirit of volunteerism. It is what we call willing service without the expectation of payment, and it has been sweeping this little land we love, particularly since the passing of Hurricane Melissa. As most of you would know by now, while some of us were spared her wrath, the western region wasn't. And it is in this that we're seeing the haves rally to the sides of the have-nots, and it is beautiful to watch. With the passage of the hurricane, many families across Jamaica saw their lives turned upside down. Homes were destroyed, communities uprooted, and many lost everything, from their clothing to the comfort of a place to sleep. And in the midst of all that loss, there are the students. With schools damaged or completely gone, they have lost their routine, their learning, and their sense of stability. But as Jamaicans continue to rally by their sides, there is a spark of hope. With the launch of the YCATS Mobile Resource Center, education is literally being brought back to their doorsteps, restoring not just lessons, but confidence, connection, and a sense of normalcy as our young people begin to rebuild their lives. Established 2 years ago to help fill the gap in the education of young children, on learning about the devastation in the West, the organization quickly sprang into action. A mobile resource center was launched in Black River, where many young people have not been going to school on account of the devastation caused by the hurricane.
I came here first, and when I saw the situation, I said, well, this is a need, another need that we saw, and we decided to action it. I went to Matthews and Clark and I proposed the idea to them. They were very excited to come on board, and since then they have been with us. Even before that, they were with us, and they have continued with us. So when we came into the community and saw that need, we said, all right, how can we get a unit here and to be able to address the need, because these kids, Black River Primary and the other schools, are all severely damaged and they won't be going to school for a very long time. That would be a lot of learning loss.
And of course, being a non-profit, they rely on volunteers. And so when volunteers like Claudine Grant and Natasha Headley, an early childhood teacher and a guidance counselor, heard about the initiative, they found it imperative to participate, although they too have suffered because of the hurricane. With their help and others, positive change is happening.
The previous location that we have, the first day we started out with 4 kids. Then it started with 7. Then at the end of the day we had 70. The second day we had 120. The third day we had approximately 170 children showing up at that location. That shows that this is very, very important. It's important for the community, but it's also important for the children. And that was significant for us.
Another group not readily considered whenever there is devastation like a Category 5 hurricane are our wildlife creatures. Thankfully, conservation biologist Damian White and his team rushed to their aid immediately after the hurricane passed. What they discovered was that with the trees damaged, bird populations too were affected.
So we had to go, take off the branch, clean up some of the birds and release. At one of these nests that have several hundred palm leaf living, we got approximately 160 died. So it had direct impact on birds that nest in trees. The second thing that happened was we noticed birds like parrots, baldplate, parakeet are now coming closer to people. They're on the ground, one, looking for food. They're also looking for water, and they would never come close to people. This nest dropped and killed several of the birds, and so we have here a nest. Several of the birds got crushed, so we are taking them out.
Some were saved.
And some were saved. We got maybe 4 adults that flew out after we take out the foliage, and we're making a makeshift nest right here where we have several juvenile that we are trying to make them dry. We don't know if the parents will make it, so one of the options that we have is carry them to the zoo.
And of course, other wildlife like the crocodiles felt the wrath of Melissa and became misplaced. But this conservation biologist believes that while helping is certainly good, documentation needs to take place to properly ascertain future damage and loss.
Documenting this will help us to plan for when other hurricanes come, because as I said, with climate change we can get bigger, badder storms. And if we document some of this information, it will help some of our stakeholders make improvement plans.
Of course, when a hurricane hits, the loss is never just material. Physical and psychological harm also takes place, which is why it is important for our healthcare providers to aid in the process. In this regard, we see Serve It Forward, a network of medical professionals and volunteers working together to help communities in need. This group is providing medical services to community members and handing out care packages as well as building materials.
The first pillar of our project is medical care and support. So we do home visits and we set up centers like these where we treat individuals. Individuals come, they have a prescription that need to be filled, we fill those prescriptions. If there are things that they need to see the doctor about in the form of consultation, we get that done as well.
After the devastation of Melissa, many Jamaicans ran to the western side of the island, bringing thousands of relief supplies. Among them was CM Recycling Limited, whose visit saw them going with trucks filled with water, food items, clothing, and building materials.
In such a devastation, the people needed hope. And once they have hope, once they know that someone is there for them, then there's hope of them rebuilding, getting their life back together. If they are there suffering and there's no hope, there's no one there, then it is going to make the process a bit harder. But there's hope for them, and we bring hope to them. We didn't just bring care packages, we bring hope. We bring them assurance that we will be there with them for the long haul.
So don't think that there is nothing you can do to help. You may help by talking with someone falling into depression about what they've been through. You may help by using your skills, aid in the rebuilding process. And as countless others have done, you may give what you have. It is important to note that there is a national registry of volunteers to provide coordinated support. If you are interested in helping, you may visit supportjamaica.gov.jm. And remember, it's about service. It's about sacrifice and the belief that helping one person strengthens us all.
This Christmas, let's celebrate the season while protecting the island we love. As we prepare for the busiest time of year, let us remember that being eco-friendly is easier than you think. Reuse gift bags and wrapping paper where you can, and decorate with items you already have in storage. While you're at it, choose LED lights. That light bill due by the month's end will not give you grace. You may also reduce waste by recycling where possible. Utilizing reusable containers and carrying your own bags to the market are small choices that make a big difference. When we protect our beaches, rivers, and green spaces, we protect our future. Come this holiday season, when you visit all the popular and tucked away gems, be mindful of what and how you throw away your waste. We don't want to cause harm to the country's biodiversity and ecosystems. This season, let's keep Jamaica beautiful. Let's keep the season bright and keep the season green. Protect the land you love today, tomorrow, and for generations to come.
Life has become a little easier for persons with disabilities thanks to the I Am Able mobile app. The platform is making it faster and more convenient to access assistance for services that once took much longer. Up next, we take a closer look at how the app works.
Bus and taxi fare for going a town. Whole heap of waiting time. We are indeed honored to be able to serve the community through digital services. The official launch of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities mobile application and the management information system, a bold step in digital inclusion and service delivery for persons with disabilities in Jamaica. This launch is not just about technology, it's about empowerment, accessibility, and transforming how we connect people to the services they deserve.
According to the World Health Organization estimates, approximately 400,000 persons with disabilities live in Jamaica, about 15% of the overall population. As of July 29, 2025, the JCPD database reveals that only 17,673 persons with disabilities are registered, and 30,809 applications so far processed through the system. This means that only about 4.4% of Jamaica's estimated population of persons with disabilities are currently registered with the JCPD, something the agency is looking to change with the launch of its I Am Able mobile app.
This digital transformation is a critical step towards closing that gap and ensuring that more individuals can be registered to enable them to access the services and support that you deserve. The JCPD has long served as a cornerstone of support and advocacy for persons with disabilities across Jamaica. However, with several service inefficiencies, and you know what I'm talking about, inability to reach the majority of our clients, we recognize the growing need for a modern, efficient, and accessible service delivery.
Made possible through an investment by UNICEF Jamaica, the system promises grand changes for those living with disabilities in the country.
This system ensures that children with disabilities are properly registered, recognized, and supported starting from birth and continue through their early years of education. By digitizing and connecting social services, Jamaica is not only improving efficiency but also promoting greater fairness and inclusion for some of our most vulnerable young citizens.
The app will allow individuals to register or renew their status with the JCPD from their mobile phones, upload documents such as TRNs and medical certificates, and track their application in real time, reducing approval time from 30 days to just minutes. It also facilitates applying for grants, tax exemptions, and assistive devices, as well as ID cards, parking stickers, and letters.
Jamaica should be proud, as we are highlighting that what is possible when policy, purpose, and partnership converge.
We are making it crystal clear that technology is not to be placed on a shelf. Technology is to be used for the benefit. It is to serve everyone, especially the vulnerable who will benefit the most from it. But the responsibility is to take that technology and bring it closer to the people who need to use it.
It helps you to put in all the information that you need for doctor bill, transportation, health issue, travel issue, everything that you needed. That app contains all of those information once you put them in.
My JCPD app is a game changer in that for persons who are blind or visually impaired in particular, I see where it will allow them to be independent in terms of a registration process, in terms of a follow-up process.
With the introduction of this digital platform, we are not just establishing innovation, we are expanding access, breaking down barriers, and opening new frontiers in service delivery. The I Am Able My JCPD system is more than just a technological upgrade. It is a statement that every Jamaican, regardless of disability, deserves access to efficient, transparent, and responsive services. It is also a tool for empowerment, ensuring that persons with disabilities can engage with the JCPD and the wider society with greater independence and dignity.
As floodwaters rise, displaced insects like scorpions, centipedes, and bees are seeking refuge in homes. Their bites and stings can be painful, dangerous, and may cause severe allergic reactions. Protect your family. Shake out clothes, towels, and shoes before use. Use a light when entering dark spaces such as closets and sheds. Keep children and pets away from piles of debris. Seek medical attention immediately if bitten or stung. Stay safe and vigilant.
Over the past few months, it's felt like we've really seen the best of Jamaica and Jamaicans on display as we've shown our resilience and community spirit. Up next, we explore Jamaica's cultural heritage and the root of our national identity.
Our heritage, as one cultural expert puts it, is more than just old buildings or historical relics from the past. It is the living, breathing essence of who we are as a people. It is found in the customs we keep, the stories and the rhythms of our daily lives, shaped by past generations and guiding those yet to come.
In the Caribbean, we oftentimes see that past as something that, oh, bad things happen, but there's really good stuff. And if you go back even further, especially when it comes down to our food, it's even better stuff. So it's important in terms of our identity. But the other facet of it is that when you think about who you are, you also have to think about where am I going? Because in many respects, who you were informs what am I going to do next.
From the sunken ruins of Port Royal to the haunting beauty of Rose Hall, Jamaica's built heritage tells stories of endurance and rebirth. Monuments like Sam Sharp Square, Emancipation Park, and the birthplaces of icons such as Bob Marley and Claude McKay stand not only as reminders of our past, but as symbols of national pride and possibility.
Our built monuments are testament of where we're coming from, but they also say to us what it is that we can be.
Beyond stone and mortar lies Jamaica's intangible heritage, the cultural heartbeat that cannot be seen but is deeply felt. It lives in the rhythms of reggae, ska and mento, in the proverbs of our elders, and in the oral traditions that connect generations.
Our proverbs, you know, one of my favorite remains one cocoa full basket. And I use this one regularly, sometimes with even some of my students. Chicken Mary Hot in there, exam is just around the corner.
Even in the face of natural disasters, that spirit shines through in the music born out of struggle, from Hurricane Gilbert to more recently, Hurricane Melissa, reminding us that resilience is part of who we are. And then there's the food, a delicious symbol of how heritage is both tangible and intangible.
Some of us were formally trained in terms of cooking, but cooking and replicating those things, it came with a store of stories. I would stay in the kitchen with my aunt and chat, learning things from her, but watching what it is that she's doing, looking at the herbs, looking at the spices. So certainly cooking, and there's an oral tradition part of it, and there's of course the very tangible thing, the eponymous Dutch pot or the Dutchie that we use to cook our food.
And above all, our resilience.
It is not uncommon to hear how strong we are under pressure, how well we do in other countries. So our intangible heritage is also that will to survive and to succeed above all.
Preserving that spirit means ensuring future generations know where they come from.
It is extremely important to pass heritage down to the next generation, because we want to ground our children, our grandchildren. We want them to remember who they are. In this world nowadays where everything is saturated, we're saturated with information coming from abroad. It's very easy to get caught up in other people's heritage and other people's culture. And so we have to make a more concerted effort to say, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, this is where we are going.
In the end, it is a message of pride and purpose.
I really hope that we get to learn a little bit more about who we are so that we can protect just that, who we are.
Jamaica's heritage endures in laughter, strength, and the spirit of its people. So, let's keep the flame alive. Future generations are depending on it.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is dedicated to helping you recover and rebuild.
Farmers, just let me say that RADA is there working on your behalf. We're there to make sure that you bounce back quickly and even stronger than before. So don't give up hope.
The RADA team is on the ground, providing technical guidance on recovery strategies, including crop and livestock rehabilitation.
Rest assured, help will come to you and you'll be able to bounce back.
For queries and information, WhatsApp 876-436-8879 or call 888-ASK-RADA.
You've probably heard this already, but let's not forget Hurricane Melissa dealt a heavy blow to Jamaica's agricultural sector, causing an estimated $29.5 billion in damage. Yet, in the spirit of our magazine's theme, helping hands rose to meet the challenge. From farmers to fishers, support poured in to help those most affected begin the journey to recovery. Now, more than ever, let us join hands across Jamaica, sharing love, strength, and support for all, especially those whose lives and livelihoods were impacted by the hurricane.
Do not leave valuables such as gifts, laptops, and cell phones in plain view in your car. If you have to leave these items in the vehicle, put them in the trunk. This will decrease the likelihood of a car break-in.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recap and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.